Hello everybody. So in our last video today, we are going to learn how to add to the number of questions in our experiment. So far we have learned how to make an experiment, to design an experiment which has an introductory instruction. It asks participants to press spacebar to continue, and then it shows a very simple multiple choice question. They answer, they press one of the buttons on the keyboard, and then it ends with showing an end message. But what if we have more than one question? What if our test includes, for example, 20 questions? That's why we will define a loop in our video, and then I will explain how to make an input file and then how to define a new loop. Yeah, so how would you add new questions to your program? One way is just to add multiple, duplicate the routines. So let's open our PsychoPy file. All right, so here we have one question here. So you can add, you can have different routines. For example, question 2 here after question 1, and then again you can add another question 3 after question 2, and then for each of them you should define the text and you should define the response key. But this is not economical. It takes too much time, and sometimes it's you might get into trouble. So let's look for another way. So one way is to define a loop. It means that let's define the first question for the program, and then let's teach the program to go and grab questions from repository, that is from a file, and then repeat itself. So for each routine, it shows a question, it gets response from participant, and then it goes to that file, and then it shows next question, it grabs participant's response, and it repeats and it repeats and repeats until the questions in the repository finishes, and then it exits the routine and it goes to the end message. So how can we do that? First, you need a Excel file. You need an Excel file, which I have already made it. So let's open this file. I will explain how to make this file from the very beginning. Don't worry about that. So this Excel file has different rows and different columns. So the first column is your index column, and then the second column is your item number. So here the index column and item number column are the same, but later on you will see in some experiments they might be different. We are not going to go into detail now, but you should have these two columns separately, but later we will see how they might be different. So as the name suggests, when we say item number, these are your different questions. Another column that you might have is item type, because in your study some of the items are main items or experimental item, and some items are just there to distract participants' attention, or they are filler items. So you can specify your item type, whether it is experimental or main trial or filler trial in this column. And then you have your trial, you have your question. And as you can see here, you can put your question here. Sarah always goes to school by bus. 1 go, 2 goes, 3 going, 4 to go. And then John should blank a lot, work a lot, works a lot, working a lot, or to work a lot. Or another question, I enjoy blank movies, as you can see here. So I have put my questions in this column. And then I can also add correct response column. So remember that we defined 1 is A, 2 is S, 3 is D, and 4 is F. So for the first question, the correct response is S, or 2. For the second question is A, or 1, so on and so forth. So this is your repository file. The PsychoPy will refer to this file and grabs the first row. Okay, it shows the question, it compares it with the correct response, it collects the participant's response, and then it repeats itself. This time it goes to the second row, and then third row, so on and so forth. And then when it finishes, that is when all 4 questions are shown, it exits this file and it goes into the end message. So some important points that I want to mention regarding this file. Number 1, the first row is the header or title row. So in this row, you should not have any space between the words. As you can see here, I have not left any space between them. You can use underscore, or you can capitalize the first letter of each word. And then another point is that you should be as specific as possible. That is, you can add as many columns as you want to your file, and please do that because it helps you in your data analysis. But until now, these columns are really enough. So we will close this file, and then we come back to our let's say file. So now what should we do? We come to the question, okay, question routine. First of all, we should change the question stem, because if you remember, this stem, this was only for one question. Now that we have different question, we change it from constant to set every repeat. So as the name suggests, it means that when you finish showing this question, go to the file and show the second question. So this should be on set every repeat. And then we will get rid of this text. We put a $sign. So dollar means column. Go to this specific column, and then we put the exact name of the column, which was trial, if I'm not mistaken. And then we click on OK. And now we should come to question response. So we should not change anything here. The only thing that we should change is correct answer, because here not all questions have S as their correct answer. So here what we should do is to put a $sign. It means that go to the file and go to this specific column in the file. So what was the name of the column? I just forgot. Let's open the Excel file. Yeah, so correct response. So it should be exactly as it is in the Excel file. So correct response, and then OK. And now we should insert loop. So we click on insert loop. It says where to start and end the loop. We started from here and we end it here. That is, we just want to repeat the questions, not the instruction. So here I should name it, for example, question loop. So loop type should be sequential. It means that the rows in the Excel file should be in order. Let's leave it as it is. So n reps, it means that how many times should each question be repeated. It makes sense for each question to repeat only once, so we change it into 1. And then these should be all left blank. And now in the conditions we should browse and let's say put the name of the file. So let's say yeah, so it's here. Yeah, so when you define it here, then it reads the file and it tells you it has 4 conditions with 5 parameters. But one important point is that this file should also be in the same folder with your experiments. So let me just copy and paste this file into my onto my desktop. Okay, now if we look here, yeah, it's here. Now let's again insert the loop. It starts here, it ends here. It's only 1 repetition. It's question loop. It shouldn't be random, sequential, and then browse. It's on my desktop, lab 1, and then OK. And now my program is complete. You can test it at home, because if I want to test it here, you cannot see. But if you have followed the steps, you should be able to run the program with no error. So to summarize, we have made a program. It shows this instruction. Participants read the instruction, press spacebar. It shows a set of questions, multiple choice questions. They press one of A to F buttons on the keyboard, and then it stores the correct answer, and it stores the participants' answers, and it compares them together, and it generates a data file. So let's go back to our slides to see if we have missed anything. Yeah, so we have covered all of them. So this slide is very important. It gives you a guideline whenever you want to make a PsychoPy file. First of all, you should make a CSV file and label the columns properly. That's our repository, because most of the time you are dealing with a set of questions and set of stimuli, not only one question or stimulus. And then you should break down your test into routines and identify activities in each routine. I mean, for example, one routine consists of showing the question, pressing button to answer the question, or one routine is showing the instruction, pressing the button to proceed, and then you start constructing activities, and then you put the activities in the right order to make a routine, and then you do the same for next routine, and finally you should identify where to put a loop when where needed. So as an activity, I have included in the last slide. So you should run an experiment where an instruction is shown first, and then they press spacebar. Then an audio file should be played back. Participants should listen to that audio file, and then a true-false question about the audio file appears on the screen for 5 seconds. After that, they should press Q for false and P for true. Let's hypothetically assume that there are 5 audio files, and then you will end in thank you message. Okay, thank you very much. If you have any questions, you can be in contact with me via email, and I will answer your questions.